So previously, we had seen about liquid democracy, and if you haven't seen that, you should check that out before watching this. Let's have a quick recap at what we had seen in the previous video. So we had seen that every voter had a choice to delegate his or her vote to another voter. So, and the delegation can just keep propagating. Like the delegated votes can just propagate through the graph, and the next node may again choose to delegate the seed votes, and so on. This can just keep on happening, and so we had seen that this was the meta delegation component, where the delegated votes can again get delegated, and so on. So we are also seen that at any given point, every voter had a choice to basically recall his or her delegation. Like once delegated, he's perfectly allowed to recall his delegation, and that can happen because maybe the voter is not happy with the way the election is going on, or maybe the voter is not happy with the way his or her vote got delegated. So for that reason, he can choose to recall his vote, recall his delegation, and so let's say this voter was not happy with the way his vote got delegated, and he just chooses to recall that delegation. And if he chooses to recall uh, the delegation, the graph will have to get updated accordingly, and the weights will change. So similarly, let's say this node wants to recall the delegation, and if this node does that, if this node recalls the delegation, the graph again will look different, and the weights are now updated. So we have the setting of uh, dynamic graphs, and this is the component uh, which we've seen, and this is called the instant recall component. So we had seen about meta delegation, and we had also seen about instant recall. So think about this for a moment. Why would a voter feel the need to recall his delegation? So that can happen due to a number of reasons, and a possible reason is that maybe it's because of the fact that I trusted B, and B then ended up trusting C, and I did not agree with that. So what I'm trying to get here is our current model of democracy did not account for the fact that trust can decay with distance. Trust may diminish with distance, and we did not account for that. So if A trusts B and B trusts C, A need not trust C. So just because A is trusting B and B is trusting C, A need not trust C. So it would be better if our model did indeed account for this flow of trust. So imagine the trust of A as some kind of fluid in the graph. And as you can see, it's very realistic to think that it can the trust of A can diminish with distance. So as soon as it reaches a D, it may not reach it with the level of intensity, or the quantity of trust may not be as much as it did reach B. So it kind of diminishes with distance, and it's realistic to account for that. And that is why we sort of move on from the notion of the basic liquid democracy to this notion of viscous democracy, which kind of takes into account and adjusts the weight according to distance. And how exactly is that done? How is the score of a node calculated while taking the distance into account? All that will be covered in the next video.